Hello all, Carrie Hepburn here, and so I wanted to give you the second video in the series about reading graphic novels. And my thinking is if we can gain some background knowledge on how to support our students with reading graphic novels, then that will help you be more responsive in your teaching. If you pull up to a student and they're reading a graphic novel and you're doing a conference with them. And so I think it's super helpful for you. Might be something you want to think about teaching into in your mini lessons with your class. And then I think this background knowledge is incredibly important if you make the decision to have students write graphic novels. So it's important for you to understand how a graphic novel is structured and built and created and like the complexity of it before you jump in and have students write comics or graphic novels. So I'm going to start with sharing my screen with you, and we're going to go to a sweet little graphic novel that I found on Epic, CC, A Fairy's Tale, Perfect View. This is the third one, and so I'm gonna just do like another short, quick clip because I found that I had to spend a lot of time figuring out this vocabulary because it is different than reading a book that's prose. And so remember when I said prose earlier, prose is sentences and paragraphs. Graphic novels tell their stories through pictures and words, so illustrations and words. So I want to go back to panels. So remember, like a panel is like, how do I want to say this? It's like what's within that panel is a piece of the story, okay? And then in between panels, you're going to notice like this space. See that? You can clearly see it on this. Within this space, these are called gutters. And gutters are the space between panels. So this one kind of depicts it a little bit better. Here's a panel. Here's a panel. This is the gutter, okay? So as a reader, when you move from one panel to the next, you kind of predict or need to think about what's going to happen next. So you need to understand what happened in this part before you move to this part. So remember earlier we had talked about, and I want to make sure I say it correctly for you guys, is that when you read, you know, a graphic novel, words don't do the descriptive work. It's the pictures that do the descriptive work. When you read a prose, it's the words that do the descriptive work, and you have to make the picture in your mind. So again, this is a panel, this is a gutter. When you move from one panel to the next, you cross this gutter, and it's during that time where you're doing predicting or thinking about what could be happening next, what happened, what you've learned in this panel, okay? Something else, we talked about speech bubbles. So speech bubbles are these, and what you're gonna notice is that this speech bubble, like, here it is. So it's kind of like you can hear Cece talking, you know, like, pause, here it is, just right like that. And then you'll notice the speech bubble, oops, see that? It's a little bit different. So you can hear her just being like, oops, that kind of thing. Something I want to point out is this is the caption, and captions give us like important information. They're not necessarily, it's kind of like the narrator speaking to us, kind of telling us something that's really important. A lot of times it could be like the setting or some important background information we need to know before we go in to reading the text. One more thing I want to talk about in this particular video around panels are that one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about was that panels, the larger the panel, the more important it is as far as information for that page, okay? So you're going to have different sizes of panels, but the larger panels are going to give us really important information. So consider it like real estate. So this is a two-page spread, okay? So this is page 1 and page 2. When you think about the real estate of a panel, the larger the real estate, the more important the information. So something you're going to want to know is if you decide to teach your students about writing graphic novels, they're going to think about using a larger panel like this one or this to highlight like an important moment, to maybe establish a new setting. See this, like Friday afternoon, a new time here, or to include lots of characters. So that's where a student would use a larger panel. And then the smaller panels, you'll notice these are some smaller panels. That's where you show like small action or details, like some small details, like Dad takes us camping every year. But now you have your wings. Being a fairy changes everything. So that gives us an important but like small detail so that we can kind of understand a little bit more about this character, or to zoom in on a particular character. So like, how can it be different? I mean, wings or not, it's only camping. So you can kind of see, like when you look at her, she's got like this power stance, she's got her wings, and she's just like, I don't understand what the problem is because we go camping every year and I'm just a fairy. And so think about those things as you're working with your students and teaching them. I hope that you found this video helpful, and I just really want to encourage you to take some time to get on Epic because there's lots of free graphic novels there. Get started there and check out your public library for other graphic novels. Thank you.